Standing ovation, Madam Nirmala Sitharaman ji, Minister of Commerce and Industry and Corporate Affairs and Finance. We welcome you, ma'am. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Abhinandan wa swagat. On behalf of Indian Social Responsibility Network, I, Rashim Tharsood, welcome you all on this beautiful morning. उठो कि हिमालय की धरा है पुकारती, उठो कि हिमालय की धरा है पुकारती, जागो कि भारती है तुम्हें निहारती, निखरो कुछ इस तरह कि देश नाश करे तुम पर, निखरो कुछ इस तरह कि देश नाश करे तुम पर, जियो इस तरह कि समाज तुम्हारी आवाज बने. Let me begin by thanking and welcoming you all for taking the time from your busy schedule and joining us here today. We have all collected here because we share a common goal, a common objective, the objective of creativity, a better India. It's beyond doubt that corporate social responsibility plays an integral role in helping achieve this shared objective. Our hope today is to offer you all a platform to discuss ideas, identify challenges, create strategies, and most importantly, build relationships that will help create the India our forefathers dreamed for us to be living in. Now I request Dr. Malika Nadda to escort our chief guest, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, Minister of State, Commerce and Industry and Corporate Affairs and Finance on dais. Madam Nirmala Sitharaman, please give her a big applause. I request Shobha ji to escort Madam Lalita Kumar Mangalam, Chairperson, National Commission for Women. देखिए तालियों में कोई कमी नहीं. They are the powers of India. आज की नारी कितनी स्ट्रांग है ये आपको आज के कार्यक्रम से पता चलेगा. I request Shri Charanjit Banerjee, Director General CII, please come on the dais. Thank you, sir. Mr. Santosh Gupta, CEO, ISRN, welcome, sir. Mr. Sanjay Chaturvedi, Co-Convener, ISRN and MD Divine International Foundation, welcome, sir. भारतीय परंपरा है कि शुभ कार्य का प्रारंभ दीप से दीप प्रज्वलित कर करें. Now I request our chief guest, Shrimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, Madam Kumar Mangalam ji, Shri Charanjit ji, Santosh ji, Dr. Malika Nadda, to please escort them on the dais to light the lamp. And Shobha ji also. ज्योति जला निज प्राण की, ज्योति जला निज प्राण की, बाती गढ़ बलिदान की, दीप ज्योति है परम ज्योति है, दीप ज्योति है परम ज्योति है, दीप ज्योति जनार्दना, दीपो हर्तो में पापम आत्म ज्योति नमोस्तुते. जलते जीवन के प्रकाश में जीवन तिमर हटाए, उस दधीची की तपा ज्योति से हम एक एक करके दीप जलाएं. ज्योति आत्मा का रूप है. ज्योति से ज्योति प्रज्वलित कर आज के कार्यक्रम का प्रारंभ इस प्रकाश से और शुभकामनाओं से होता है. Light symbolizes knowledge and removal of darkness. Traditional oil lamp has further spiritual significance. Now I request Dr. Shobha Vijayendra to felicitate our chief guest, Shrimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji. शोभा जी से अनुरोध है कि पुष्प गुच्छ और प्रतीक चिन्ह देकर हमारी आज की मुख्य अतिथि निर्मला सीतारमन जी का अभिनंदन व स्वागत करें. मैडम निर्मला सीतारमण जी, जो कि हमारी मिनिस्टर हैं कॉमर्स एंड इंडस्ट्री एंड कॉर्पोरेट अफेयर्स एंड फाइनेंस की, until recently she served as a national spokesperson for Bharatiya Janata Party. Currently she has been allotted the MP seat from Rajya Sabha from Andhra Pradesh. She attained a BA degree from Sita Lakshmi Ramaswamy College, Trichupalli, and MA degree in economics from Jawaharlal Nehru University in 1980, followed by PhD in Indo-European textile trade. We welcome you, ma'am. निर्मला जी के लिए दो शब्द जरूर कहना चाहूंगी। कुछ चलते पद चिन्हों पर, कुछ चलते पद चिन्हों पर कुछ पद चिन्ह बनाते हैं, वही सूरमा इस जग में पूजे जाते हैं। Now I request Dr. Malika Nadda, please welcome Madam Lalita Kumar Mangalam, Chairperson, National Commission for Women. Ma'am Lalita Kumar Mangalam, member of a National Executive of Bharatiya Janata Party and Chairperson of the National Commission for Women. Kumar Mangalam is a graduate of St. Stephen College, Delhi, with a degree in economics and has an MBA from Madras University. इनकी शख्सियत को देखकर यही कहा जा सकता है कि बहुत सारी चीजें इनके अंदर समावेश कर जाती हैं और बहुत सहजता से कार्य करती हैं। वी वेलकम यू मैम। नाउ आई रिक्वेस्ट अविनाश शर्मा जी, प्लीज कम ऑन द डायस एंड वेलकम Chandrajit Banerjee. Mr. Banerjee is a postgraduate in economics with specialization on economics in planning and economics from the University of Calcutta. Earlier, he did his graduation from St. Xavier College, Calcutta in economics. Mr. Banerjee has been responsible for important areas of working, including the sectoral verticals, manufacturing services, agriculture, and life sciences sectors. We welcome you, sir. मंजिलें उनको मिलती हैं जिनके सपनों में जान होती है। मंजिलें उनको मिलती हैं जिनके सपनों में जान होती है। पंखों से कुछ नहीं होता, उड़ान हौसलों से होती है। I request Dr. Malika Nadda, please come on the dais and welcome all the dignitaries. Dr. Malika Nadda.
आज के राष्ट्रीय संगोष्ठी CSR फॉर श्रेष्ठ भारत में उपस्थित हमारे आज के मुख्य अतिथि आदरणीय निर्मला सीतारमण जी, ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट कॉमर्स एंड इंडस्ट्री, कॉरपोरेट अफेयर्स एंड फाइनेंस, ISRN परिवार की ओर से मैं निर्मला जी का हृदय से अभिनंदन करती हूँ, स्वागत करती हूँ। I would like to say, Nirmala ji is a great personality. She is a person with a strong mind, but a very kind heart. She is a great speaker known for her oratory skills as spokesperson of BJP. She has traveled widely and is highly qualified with doctorate in Indo-European textile trade from JNU. She has a vast experience in development and corporate sector. She is founder, member, and director of Pranav School in Hyderabad, and also a former member of National Commission for Women. On behalf of ISRN, I welcome you, ma'am, in our program. Thank you very much for sparing your valuable time. We have with us Dr. Lalita Kumar Mangalam. Ma'am has been conferred a doctorate degree yesterday from the University of Raipur. She is our inspiration. She is the founder member of ISRN and also an inspiration to start this program, this project. And I welcome Kumar Mangalam, Madam Lalita Kumar Mangalam on this occasion as a member of ISRN and also as a guest. She is the chairperson of National Commission for Women, which is a new responsibility that has been conferred upon her. We congratulate you, ma'am, for the new responsibility, and we know that under your able leadership, Women Commission will be more vibrant and effective in empowering women and imparting justice. On behalf of ISRN, I welcome you, Lalita ji. She is a member and part of ISRN. We have amongst us Shri Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General, Confederation of Indian Industry. Mr. Banerjee has been associated with CII for the past 26 years, and we are sure that we will get his guidance today to grow more and to establish a partnership beyond funding. Relationship beyond funding is one of our topics, and we know with the corporate, we need relationship beyond funding, and I hope that under his able guidance, we will reach our goal. Here, I would also take this opportunity to welcome Shobha Vijendra Gupta. She is the convener of this program and also founder of Sampurna. We have with us Santosh Gupta, who is the CEO of ISRN, and it is he who has taken all the initiative, and all his hard work has today resulted in this good representation in this seminar of corporates and voluntary organizations. I thank Santosh ji and welcome him. Here I would like to welcome all the members and our corporate partners today in this workshop who have come to attend this program and also share their views about Indian social responsibility and our responsibility towards society, our responsibility towards voluntary sector, and how we can make Shreshth Bharat. As you all know, CSR for Shreshth Bharat is the theme of this seminar today. And as we all know that our Honorable Prime Minister, Modi ji, has given us a slogan of Ek Bharat and Shreshth Bharat. And now, how we can fulfill his dream of Shreshth Bharat has to be decided by us, by the society, by all members of the society. To make a Shreshth Bharat, we need each and everyone to rise to the occasion and also work according to the needs of the society, according to the need of the people, to change India, to change Bharat. And I think before we dream big, we should think about small things which our Prime Minister is indicating, like sanitation, like cleanliness, like building of toilets. And these are the small, small things which will bring a change in the society, change in the community. And I think we together can bring this change and make the Bharat of our dream, make the dream of our Prime Minister come true. Here I would like to mention that when we talk of development today, it is no longer seen as discrete responsibility. When we say development, it means involving each and every individual and institution who are part of the society. The CSR is an outcome of such realization. CSR talks about engaging only very strong and potential pillars of a society who were seen disconnected with the society in terms of development, and they are the corporate sectors and also the voluntary sector. Globalization and rapid economic development have had a deep impact on the social, economic, and political and cultural fabric of our country. And we need to change this system. The NGOs, the government sector can work as a network to ensure inclusive and sustainable growth. CSR has gone through many phases in India. The ability to make a significant difference in the society and improve the overall quality of life has clearly been proven by the corporates. Not one, but all corporates should try to bring about a change in the current social situation in India in order to have an effective and lasting solution to the social woes. This seminar today is an effort to bring the policymakers, the corporates, and the voluntary organizations on one platform to share their vision, expectation, challenges, and decide on the way ahead, the way we have to move. Seminar sessions are designed in a way to cover scope, innovations, mechanisms, and challenges by stakeholders in understanding and also effective implementation of CSR. Session will also highlight on reporting mechanism, facilitations to institutions and agencies, and how social audit can play a crucial role in assessment of CSR projects. We will also talk about a new dimension in CSR, that is tourism promotion through CSR, how we can develop historical monuments and heritage sites under CSR so that the importance of these places and sites in the Indian perspective can be highlighted. We believe this seminar today will prove to be very fruitful for each of us here and will be an opportunity to interact, learn from experiences of each other, and establish relationship building beyond funding. Here I would like to mention Dr. Vinay Shreshth, who is also a pillar in establishing this ISRN network, who has not been able to be present here because of his program in Maharashtra and his responsibility in the elections of Maharashtra. And I would like to mention Indumati Raoji, who is one of our organizing committee members. She has come all the way from Bangalore. I would like to welcome her as co-convener of this program. Mr. Sumit Bhasin, he is also a member of our organizing committee. Shri Sanjay Chaturvedi, co-convener ISRN and organizing committee. Rajneesh Goenka ji, he is also co-convener of ISRN and our organizing committee. We have Ravindra Satheji with us. He has also come all the way from Bombay, co-convener and ISRN organizing committee member. We welcome you, Ravindra Satheji, today in our program. And I welcome once again each and every member present here from the corporate world and voluntary organizations who have made an effort to attend this program, and we hope and we are sure that our partnership will last long and it will be relationship beyond funding. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Malika Nadda. दृढ़ इच्छा शक्ति वो लगन मानव को अपनी मंजिलों तक पहुंचा ही देता है और उसे कोई रोक नहीं पाता। इसके लिए कवि की कुछ पंक्तियां हैं। ना हो साथ कोई अकेले बढ़ो तुम, सफलता तुम्हारे चरण चूम लेगी। अगर उग सको तो उगो सूर्य से तुम, प्रवरता तुम्हारे चरण चूम लेगी। Now I request Santosh Gupta ji, CEO ISRN, who is the founder of this foundation, and he has extensive experience in disaster management. He will introduce you ISRN. Mr. Santosh ji.
Honorable Minister of State, Commerce and Industries, Corporate Affairs, Finance, Srimati Nirmala Sitaraman ji, National Commission for Women, Srimati Lalita Kumar Mangalam ji, Chairperson of ISRN, Dr. Chandrajit, CII, Malika Nadha ji, and Shobha Vijayan ji. So, after the welcome speech of the Malika Nadha, it's no need to presentation and detailing of the ISRN. So just, I am really feeling proud to take this opportunity through ISRN introduction. Is the journey of ISRN is not too long. Just 1 year back, with the coming of Company Bill 2013, the need for CSR intervention was left on the large scale. So in February 2014, a national convention on CSR was organized as a Ram Bhau Prabodhini at Mumbai. And second convention in month of July, with the help of Dr. Indumati Rao, we have organized in the Bangalore. So it's the third event of ISRN, and the core area of ISRN, just look the presentation of ISRN. So our vision is the India attains the status of the developed nation with collective partnership and dedication of all four partner players, that is corporate, government, NGOs, and community. It's our vision. And objective in social development sector, fill the gaps and create a strong relationship between government, NGOs, and corporate for integrated sustainable development in each area of the societies. And ISRN initiative networking is not about just connecting people, it's about the connecting organization with the people, people with ideas and ideas with opportunities. It's our slogan of ISRN. So ISRN is an initiative to bring together people of different gender working on CSR issues who believe that change cannot always be brought about by conventional method, by working, by changing our way and with respect context the growing words. So, and our key areas already Malika ji told you. So just I repeat: the resource management, physical and financial support, monitoring and evaluation, sharing of experience and success stories, technical know-how and advocacies. This is the core area of ISRN. And ISRN advantages with come those who are the member of ISRN is the benefit of the NGOs and benefit of the corporates. And it's the short span of journey. We have associated member number of NGOs, 135. Right now we have a members, NGO partnership, and 5 corporates. So it's just a small number, but way ahead in panel with PSU corporate for effective implementation of CSR activities, stakeholder analyzing, partner assessment, project planning, capacity building of NGOs, corporate, PSUs, reporting, monitoring and evaluation, advocacy, seminars and conference to share experience and learning, due diligence to member, IT intervention for skill of upgradation. And we have just, ISRN has an extensive spread converging region from east, west, north, and south. It has its represented located in few important cities, while we have an head office in Delhi. And people behind this initiation is Lalita Kumar Mangalam, Dr. Binay Saraswati, Dr. Malika Nadha, Dr. Indumati Rao, Sri Ravin Sathe, Sumit Bhasin ji, Basant Kumar ji, Sanjay Chaturvedi ji, Rakesh Mittal ji, and myself. So this is the short and crisp introduction of ISRN. Thank you.
Thank you, Santoshi. Connecting people. It's about connecting organization with people. ये है मूल मंत्र इस सेमिनार का. Now I request Shri Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General CII, please come on the dais and express his views. Shri Chandrajit ji.
Thank you. Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, the Honorable Minister for Commerce and Industry, Finance and Corporate Affairs, Dr. Lalita Kumaramangalam, Chairperson of the National Commission for Women, Dr. Mallika Nadda, Mr. Sanjay Chaturvedi, Shobhaji, Santoshji, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a privilege to speak to this audience on some of the perspectives which were mentioned earlier. But at the outset, I'd like to really congratulate the Indian Social Responsibility Network for organizing this national seminar at a very appropriate time here in Delhi today. And I think the way the ISRN has shaped up its objectives, what we heard just a while ago, is so much fits into today's nation-building work that we are all talking about, led by our Honorable Prime Minister. And it's therefore, we think that this is a very great initiative which would help connect at various levels of people at various partnerships to really deliver the goals that we have towards Shreshth Bharat. So from the industry, really, we are very delighted to participate and collaborate to this function. And I must say that I'm particularly happy that this partnership comes through an organization called India at 75, which is really looking at implementing the several calls which have been given for building India into a developed India, into an India of the future by 2022. Prime Minister has talked about it, and we are really keen to see that we take this movement across the country in terms of implementing this vision. I'd like to really especially appreciate Dr. Kumaramangalam, Lalita Kumaramangalam, for leading this very important initiative. I'd like to also take this opportunity to congratulate her, doubly congratulate her for her doctorate, as well as for her assuming this charge of the chairperson of the National Commission for Women. Ladies and gentlemen, all of us surely agree that a journey towards a new India has just about begun. And the Honorable Prime Minister has emphasized the need for industry to join hands in achieving India's development through CSR activities in clearly enunciated missions such as Housing for All by 2022, Swachh Bharat by October 2019, Education for Girl Child through the Beti Padhao Abhijan, the Beti Bachao Abhijan, 24/7 electricity for the next 10 years, etc., are all definite and very targeted objectives amongst various others. And not only in India, where it has been so very well being received across the country by everyone concerned, this visionary call has also been lauded by nations who have been looking forward to India as one of the most important countries in the world today. Therefore, government, industry, civil society are really essential stakeholders for this call of inclusive development. And platforms like this, we believe, are ideal facilitator to ensure synergy amongst these stakeholders for optimizing the utilization of resources and thus making the impact in desired areas. Leading business houses traditionally have been involved in the forefront of CSR. But what has happened over the last few years that corporate philanthropy has really evolved. There has been new awareness about what CSR is and its importance. And I want to go back to the late 80s, early 90s, when we started talking about corporate social responsibility as an organization. And many of our constituents said that, do we have business to talk about it? Our business is to look at policy advocacy, looking at building competitiveness of Indian industry. Our objective should be to working with the government to see the right type of policy framework is available. So do we have business to be at all involved in this area of social responsibility was the type of resistance that we had faced, and I'm talking about late 80s and early 90s when I was also involved in then. But it's been a long journey since then. Today, the corporates do realize that being involved in social responsibility, being socially committed, not only adds value to their corporate objectives, but more importantly, it develops what is called a triple bottom line, to which I'll come later. But more importantly, for them, they get a better workforce, they get a better environment, and they get a better shareholder value. So that realization has really come upon over the last couple of decades, and when one notices a complete different paradigm of the corporate sector getting associated with social issues. Industry also realizes the significance of CSR as a contribution towards protecting the goodwill and reputation, mitigating unrest, and increasing business competitiveness and overall sustainability. Many companies have been adopting the CSR practices to make responsibility an integral part of the long-term competitiveness as the day-to-day operations. CSR is now the conscious inclusion of public and community interest into corporate decision-making and the honoring of the triple bottom line, which is basically 3 Ps, the people, planet, and profit. And therefore, we do not believe that this is the responsibility of the government alone. Government actions alone cannot really fulfill the objectives that we have set out with. There is need for partnership again at various levels, and the contribution of policy sector, as was mentioned, which I really endorse, is not just by funding, but by more involvement. Today, we have estimated, again, just about companies spend around 10,000 odd crores, say, for instance, annually for social development activities. And there is a huge scope of this number going up with a 2% CSR. But as I said, the challenge is really how to effectively deploy these funds in order to achieve the desired impact. And that, I hope, we will get more inputs today in terms of taking this relationship forwards. But as corporates are more and more willing to partner initiatives that would make a sustainable and measurable impact, we see that organization like ISRN has a big role to play in establishing and helping this connectivity. Indian industry have been largely contributing to social development fund through various activities, but a time has really come, we believe, for the Indian industry now to play a very active and a very focused role. And Indian industry would need to collaborate with the government to understand the areas that need to have collective efforts with the government and all sections of the society. Civil society organizations today are best suited for implementation of development of initiatives at the grassroots level. Therefore, we need collaborations at that level. As an apex industry organization, we would give full priority to really considerably scaling up the activities that make Indian industry an integral component of the government strategies of inclusive development. We would closely work with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs especially and the other ministries to enhance Indian industry's efforts in social and community initiatives. In this regard, a platform such as this ISRN would need to play a very vital role, we believe, in bringing the civil society organizations and corporate together. And I'm sure that this seminar would bring out those modalities. From our side, I would really want to explore some ways of collaborating with ISRN and support their objectives. And some of the thoughts for consideration would be connecting industries looking for agencies present in the geographies of their interest and vice versa, sharing with ISRN successful models related to various aspects of development and provide knowledge inputs to ISRN partners if they are interested in replicating the same as next practice. This organization, India at 75 and ISRN, share similar ideology through the strategies of achieving the end objective would be quite different. And therefore, we would like to seek institutional linkage between the India at 75 and ISRN so that some of the thoughts that we have can be implemented in an institutional manner. So we would like to see to it that industry members are connected, and we would work with the ISRN to understand the initiatives being implemented by its partners and provide technical support wherever possible. So basically helping industry to connect with NGOs. One of the reasons why industry sometimes shy away from social projects are primarily not because they are not wanting to fund, but because they do not see how their funding is being utilized and they don't see the light of the day as far as projects are concerned. There has been many areas where we have taken up in the past. I mean, be it the tsunami in the south, be it earthquake in the north, now the floods in Kashmir, earlier earthquake in Gujarat. the way we have seen corporates getting involved, and they have got involved, say, for instance, in rehabilitation work, is when they have seen certain project actually flourish in front of them. We have seen corporates getting involved in it, be it in the areas of building community centers, housing, schools, colleges, primary healthcare centers. But when they see that their funding is being utilized for these specific projects and they are involved in these projects, it's important to involve the corporate sector in these projects, not by just taking donations from them. I think that's when their enthusiasm to get involved and creating livelihood in these areas are much more enthusiastic, and that's the role that we would really like to see the corporates play. I'd like to really talk about one very important initiative which we have taken in the very, very recent past, subsequent to the Prime Minister's call on Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, is we have initiated a mission for sanitation for schools as a part of the Swachh Bharat, Swachh Vidyalaya program of the government. This is what we are doing, is we are actually getting companies to construct and be involved in certain areas across the country, adopt certain areas, and then within that area adopt the schools and actually build toilets, and thereafter getting involved in the cultural aspect of it, in terms of why use toilets, how to use toilets. So basically getting involved with the society much more, so that there is a connect. And here, of course, NGOs are playing a very important role. We have just taken on this mission. Second, we are not leaving it there. We think the corporates need to get involved also in some format in seeing that the program goes well in terms of maintenance of the toilets, etc. So there are various issues that are therefore being taken up in a task force manner by the corporate. So we have created a task force on it, and we are targeting about 10,000 to begin with in the first phase, and we will keep increasing the numbers and the targets across the country. So we are really actually working at the district levels on this. So there are several projects where corporates would like to get involved more and more, but we would really want to make a sort of a beginning in where the involvement is much more than just funding. I'd like to talk about one last initiative, which is again a part of the India at 75, and I believe ISRN can really contribute greatly. And this has been something where we have been devising innovative initiative to redefine CSR to build to relationship building. One such is that harnessing the pro bono potential of Indian corporates, and this has been estimated by us to be about $10 billion in the next 10 years. So pro bono volunteers from corporates will be connected to the grassroots NGOs, CSOs for their capacity building by meeting the specific demand of skilled professionals. So we are working towards creating a national volunteering grid to create an ecosystem of structured volunteering to facilitate contribution of skills, money, and time by the individuals, communities, and corporates. And we are also instrumental in championing the cause of amortizing the volunteer time from within the overall 2% CSR spend of the companies. And we are really grateful here, I must say, to the new government led by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, in this case, Madam Nirmala Sitharamanji, for accepting the proposal in June this year, that this will immensely incentivize and encourage the corporates to make core professionals available for volunteering. We believe that this is a tremendous potential for the country, and we would like to really focus on in seeing how the corporate sector can contribute voluntarily towards this program. For India to grow faster and in a more inclusive and sustainable manner, we therefore must focus on harnessing the energies, talent, and contributions of all sections of the society. It is our collective responsibility, we believe, to engage in inclusive development in an efficient and impactful and a committed manner. Let me reiterate that industry stands as a strong pillar in the mission of inclusive development, and that it would continue to partner actively with the government and the civil society to build an inclusive and developed India. I'd like to once again congratulate ISRN for a very timely conference and reiterate that we from the industry will be working very, very closely with them. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Journey to New India has begun. Thank you, sir, for your valuable suggestions and ideas. देश को एक नए संकल्प, एक नए समर्पण और एक नई लगन और एक नई ऊर्जा की ज़रूरत है। कहीं पर्वत झुके भी हैं, कहीं दरिया रुके भी हैं, नहीं रुकती रवानी है, नहीं झुकेगा श्रेष्ठ भारत, ऐसा हम सब मानते हैं और स्वच्छ भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत बनेगा। I request Dr. Lalita Kumar Mangalam, Chairperson, National Commission for Women, please come and express her views. Dr. Lalita Kumar Mangalam.
Honorable Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, Dr. Malika Nadda, Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, Mr. Sanjay Chaturvedi, dignitaries on the dais, ladies and gentlemen, friends, a very good morning to all of you. First of all, at the outset, I'd like to say that I'm very happy seeing the composition of the dais here. The women far outnumber the men. And I hope this is a good portent of things to come. As Chairman of ISRN, I'd like to welcome everybody here and thank everybody who is present, especially the Honorable Minister, and thank Mr. Banerjee for his valuable contribution in terms of what he has said CII will help us with in future. As has already been explained, this seminar is part of an effort by a group of individuals who have been working in the social sector in various fields, some of us in health, some of us in women's empowerment, some of us in working with the challenged people, some of us working directly in self-help group sort of developmental activities, not merely with women, but even in trying to train people, skilling as is called nowadays. This is basically an effort to try and put together at that point of time when we started work, there were fairly disparate elements. Corporates were on one side and the NGOs on the other side, and there was often areas of conflict between the two sectors, especially when we started to talk about evaluation and monitoring of NGOs, and on the other side, perhaps a more empathetic approach from the corporates. Fortunately, in the last 6 months, there's been a sea change, but ISRN feels that we should try and be a bridge between these two sectors to see that the needs of both, which often turn out to be more similar than we think they are, can be met in a sustainable manner. It sounds very complicated and esoteric, but it's actually, when it comes down to implementation, if we can sit and talk to each other across the table, it's not very difficult at all. Today, I will concentrate most of what I'm going to say in the light of my new responsibility, that is as Chairperson of the National Commission of Women. As all of us know, women are 48% of this country. Various ages, various religions, various levels of education, various sections of society. Put together, we come to about 48% of the Indian population. In a scenario where we are looking at very aggressive development and where we are looking at taking our place as possibly the head of the Committee of Nations internationally, think about what will happen to this country if even half of that 48% is left behind. Currently, much, much more than that half lags behind. The women you see in this room are not the normal example of Indian women. Most Indian women are still extremely, for want of a better word, marginalized. And that's a kind word I use. In the last 8 days since I've taken charge at the National Commission of Women, the stories, actually they are not stories, they are reality. The complaints that have come to me are not just mind-boggling, they are horrifying. If I start talking about that here, it'll take a totally different turn, this seminar, so I'm not going to go into detail. But what we read in the newspapers and what we hear about is really the tip of the iceberg. And almost the entire reason, the most important reason behind this is the continued economic, educational, and social marginalization of women in all sectors. And believe me, this has nothing to do with either politics or religion or rich versus poor or lack of education or, I mean, even highly educated women we've had complaints from, and I'm surprised, to say the least. But this exists. What I have seen is also the fact that, and I'm sorry to have to say that, but both as spokesperson of the BJP and today as the chairperson of the National Commission of Women, I have seen a very saddening lack of empathy from the press in this country. My apologies to those of the members of the press who are here, but almost everything, whether it's developmental activity, whether it is atrocities against women, whether it is, the need for change in laws, whether it is the push for something as basic as sanitation, almost everything is made so, how do you say it, so sensational that the core message is often lost. And I would like to request all our corporate friends here, because I think you all hold more sway with the media than the rest of us do, to really bring this up. When I have held a press conference on any particular issue, which is a sensitive issue, I'm always being asked only questions that can be misinterpreted, blown up, or sound very exciting in sound bites and on television. This is not how we can solve any problem. The lack of actually sitting together and trying to be a little empathetic towards each other has been totally, almost totally obliterated by the approach from the media. And we have come to expect, and we've even, often we accept that, yeah, this is what we want to see. I don't believe this, because I have been talking to a variety of people from many sections, whether it's from the law, the legal system, or people who are actually being tortured or beaten up or burnt or whatever, and even the corporates, even young students. And I find that everybody is willing to be empathetic, but there is this almost like peer pressure. It's not peer pressure because it's, according to me, I'm not blaming only the media, but I think the lack of questioning towards the aspect the media projects in front of us I think we should be less afraid, to put it more simply, to question how the media looks at things. My request today is that I'm sure all of you, I don't need to go into detail about how CSR can help in bringing the women's agenda to the forefront. But my request is that in all activities, especially in all developmental activities that are planned, please bring gender into it. And gender doesn't mean man versus woman. I have to say this again and again in every forum that I speak at, because it's always looked at from that sort of blinkered unipolar vision almost, where we think gender is man versus woman. It's not. It's a huge variety of things, but it is to ensure eventually that women have at least some sort of equal access to everything, whether it's education, whether it's nutrition, whether it's an attempt to be educated, whether it is at the basic skilling to develop the soft skills of women, whether it is at employment, whether it's even in the use of toilets. Sanitation has become a huge thing now in India because our Prime Minister has taken it personally almost as one of his goals to see that India is literally cleaned up and people stop public defecation. I have been trying to tell many people that you can build the toilets, but it's far more important to see that they're used. And it is the women who use, it will be that the number of women or the percentage of women who are using toilets, public toilets or whatever we may call them, or even individual toilets that are built in their houses, far less than the men. Once I heard a woman tell me, and I'll say this in Hindi, she said, "Mera to dam ghutta hai, main andar nahi baith sakti." So I was very surprised because it never struck me that this could happen or this could be one of the viewpoints from anybody. But there is a huge amount of social awareness and conditioning that will have to be conducted by, I guess, mainly by the government and by the corporates, in order to see that this thrust that we are pushing, that we are now taking forward for sanitation, for seeing that India becomes literally a cleaner country, will have to be carried out before this actually takes place. Think about it. Along the national highways, how many toilets are there for women? When I travel, and this is a very common story, you know, most of us, we don't drink much water because we never know where we're going to find a clean toilet. And this is from women who actually, I mean, we are women who are trained to use indoor toilets or whatever you want to call them. Think about what happens to physically challenged women. Even worse. Think of our railways. Perhaps now the new airports that are being built have fairly clean toilets for women. I've never visited a man's toilet, so I don't know about those, but I can talk about the women's toilets. But even now, in most of, say, the railway stations, which is, again, where, and bus stations especially, which is how the bulk of Indians still travel, where are the toilets? First of all, toilets may not be there at all. If there are no segregated toilets for women. And if there are segregated toilets for women, they are not really equipped to meet the needs of women who want to use the toilet. Water is, of course, a problem, but there are a lot of other problems. So I'd like to have, I'd like to request that in any effort to build any sort of infrastructure, please take gender on board. That itself will do half, and I mean this really, most of the work in helping to bring Indian women, say, several notches higher than where they are now. It's surprising to, in the face of the fact that Indian women are still so marginalized, to know that the 5 BRICS countries, that is Brazil, China, India, Russia, and we are the countries that actually as a percentage have more women in corporate positions. It is really surprising. Even I was surprised when I saw the figures, but it is true. There are more women in senior management in India than even perhaps in countries like Germany and Switzerland, which is saying a lot. So the fact is that it's not as if in India all women are disempowered or marginalized. There are many women who, when given the opportunity, have been able to come up. And remember, we are probably one of the very few countries in the world where we actually have reservation at the grassroots level, which means we have a huge number of trained women already, or women who are in the process of being trained in basically what is administration. It may be village administration, but it is administration. So this is one of the things where India is far ahead of most other countries in addressing gender disparities. Coming back to CSR and women, I'm not asking you companies not to spend money on causes that are dear to your heart. Almost every company will have their own particular sector that they want to support. My request only is to see that the gender perspective in those particular issues is also looked at. Once you look at it, automatically you will want to address it. Because as a rule, the companies that I have worked for, and even when I have interacted with CII, I have seen that companies are very empathetic and understand the need to take gender on board, because also increasingly of the number of women who are coming into the workplace in India. So much of our labor, especially in the sectors that have grown in the last 15, 20 years, the service sectors, whether it is IT or other sectors, so much of the workforce is comprised of women, such a great much larger than a percentage than I think in any other sectors. And in the micro industry, where our self-help group women are being trained, etc., that gender has become very important. And this is why I think our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, had the good sense, which unfortunately no Prime Minister before him has actually exhibited, to, in his speech from the ramparts of Red Fort, actually tell people in India that stop only asking your girls questions, please start talking to your boys too. I know that it may not have gone down very well with the section, the male section of the audience that is present here today, and perhaps many other men in India. But it was a really revolutionary thing to do, because it actually brought out what is one of the most personal desires of any woman in this country. But why am I always being questioned, regardless of what position you may be at, believe me. But I mean, why is it that I'm the one who always has to reply to more questions, give more answers, clarifications, etc., when my male colleague, who's probably on par with me, is not expected to do that? So I think I should say thank you on behalf of all women to Modi ji, which many women have already done, I'm sure. I would also like to say that you will see increasingly in the coming years that the contribution of women, even in business, in the economics of our country, is going to increase. All of us now accept this as a fact. And in CSR too, the contribution of women, not merely as partners, but also as women who significantly contribute to the economic development of this country, be it in banking, be it in politics, be it in policy, in the bureaucracy, in policy formulation and implementation, be it in the judiciary, even in the police increasingly, is going to go up. It is not going to come down. Many people say that this is the century not just of India, but also of women. I'd like, with your help, to think of it as the century of Indian women. Thank you very much. Good morning.
थैंक यू डॉक्टर कुमार मंगलम। माना कि परिंदों के पंख हुआ करते हैं, माना कि परिंदों के पंख हुआ करते हैं, ख्वाबों में उड़ना कोई गुनाह तो नहीं। भारतीय नारी ने ख्वाब देखा है सम्मान का, उसकी मान मर्यादा का, और मुझे लगता है ISRN इसका ध्यान रखेगा और CSR उसका साथ देगा। अभिनंदन है मौन तपस्वी, अभिनंदन है तुम्हें जन्म दे धन्य हुई माँ। भारत भूमि हमारी, इतिहास उसी को याद रखता है जो राष्ट्र, समाज तथा मानवता के लिए समर्पित हुआ हो। भारत भूमि ऐसे प्रणताओं को जन्म देती है, इसीलिए ये देश विश्व का प्रेरणा स्रोत रहा है। आदर सहित मंच पर मैं आह्वान करती हूँ श्रीमती निर्मला सीतारमण जी का, मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट, कॉमर्स एंड इंडस्ट्री and Corporate Affairs and Finance. Please, ma'am, come on the dais and share your views with us. Ma'am, Nirmala Sitharaman ji.
Namaskar. The convener of today's program, Shobha Vijayendra Gupta, the chairperson of National Commission for Women, Lalita ji, the convener of this network of social responsibility organizations of India, Dr. Mallika Nadda, the co-convener, if I'm right, Santosh Chaudhary ji, Sanjay Chaturvedi ji, and of course, the responsibility of the corporates about whom we are talking, the CIA's representative and Director General who's here, Chandrajit Banerjee ji, and the august audience in front of me. I'm very happy to be associated with this initiative of the network. I think we are only talking at a right time about corporate social responsibility, especially when the Prime Minister of the country has already been speaking Ek Bharat, Shreshth Bharat, and also linking it with the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. There's ever so many reasons to talk about it now, with the investment climate in India changing, with greater interest to produce and manufacture in India, make in India. I think the corporate sector's role is only going to increase And as a result, corporate sector's role, not just in manufacturing, but also to play a role of responsibility towards a society where there's ever so many things to do, is only an appropriate time. So I appreciate the organizers for having this program timed now and to invite such an audience to have a day-long debate, deliberations, which will only help in having a greater understanding and also a greater impact of the corporate social responsibility itself. So first, my appreciations for the organizers. And I also understand the deliberations are going to be on several key aspects of what constitute the corporate social responsibility. Even as I say this, I would definitely want to state that today we may have made a legislative mandatory framework for this corporate social responsibility, but India has had a tradition of public institutions taking social responsibility as a part of the agenda. Today, of course, under the Indian legal framework, we've given it a structure, we've given it a kind of a shape. We've also tried to bring in an element of accountability into it. But I will definitely take this opportunity to say that Indian public institutions have had a role in social responsibility. However understated it was in terms of publicizing that they're indeed doing it, but that has helped this country keep the difference between the rich and the poor narrowed down. So there has been a tradition, and I wouldn't want to attribute it to this new law which has come in today, saying yes, there's a corporate social responsibility, 2% is going to be spent on keeping up good and bad of society in a balanced way, we are going to help the poor. Yes, this is a legislative framework, but I really cannot hesitate to labor on this point that there has been a tradition in this country. And coming from a political party, I cannot but underline the fact that the founder of the BJP, Shri Deen Dayal Upadhyaya ji, the ideologue, had said so much about Antyodaya, so much about the upliftment of the poorest of the poor, of those who feel almost relegated to the backdrop of the society, to be given an opportunity, to be given every access to reach out to them. And